Hello, and welcome to Own Your Retirement. My name is Albert Lalonde from Kaizen Financial Group. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 586-752-7008 or visit us online at www.kaizenfinancialgroup.com. That's Kaizen, Kaizen. And while on my website, click on the podcast page to check out our past shows and also to subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. All right. I think one of the trickiest parts of retirement planning is determining how long your savings need to last. I mean, after all, while healthy habits can play a role in longevity, no one can really predict exactly how long they're going to live. So many financial services professionals advise their clients to plan, well, for a lifespan of 95 years to help prevent running out of money in retirement. And according to a U.S. News and World Report article titled, Should Retirees Still Plan for 95? I would say that's still the right approach. In fact, some experts are raising some doubts. So, in today's episodes, we'll take a deep dive into the wisdom of planning for age 95 and explore what the latest data tells us. Plus, we'll cover some essential financial planning strategies for retirement. But first, let me introduce my co host, Tony Shore, who I suspect will still be hosting the show well into his 90s. Right, Tony?
Did you
How
say
you
into my
doing?
90s?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But hey, as long I love doing the show, so as long as my voice holds out,
There you go.
I'm good to go, right? I think
Right.
as long as I have my voice, and you drink a little warm tea with lemon and honey, that does wonders for the voice.
Yes.
If I do that every time before and after the show, I think we'll be good. And I have to say, I am interested in this discussion you've come up with today. You know, I've never really given much thought as to basing my financial strategy around my time horizon, especially all the way to age 95.
Mhm.
So I am curious to hear about that. But first, how have you been, Albert? What's going on over there? Are you keeping busy?
Yes, yes, yes. Keeping busy. Spring is on the horizon. We're getting a lot of rain and whatnot, which is
Yep.
good. We've just been plugging along like we do. I've been back, me personally, into health and fitness. I haven't been as active in working out in the last couple of years. So this is a timely topic, basically, on me getting healthier and making sure I can live to 95. So,
Right. Health
you
has
know,
a lot to do with this discussion. And I told you, we just had this conversation. The first thing when I saw you this morning, I said, wow, I can tell you've been eating right and working out because you can really see a difference. I mean, you're looking
yes.
good. You look
Yes, thank
healthy.
you,
So that's
thank you.
awesome.
Well,
That's awesome.
we're not gonna win any Mr. Michigan anytime soon again, but we're gonna keep it healthy so I can
Yeah,
be
you
here
never
and stay here
know.
for my clients and all that stuff,
You never
so
know. You
yes,
never know. I'm glad I know that you were really into that for a long time and
mhm, mhm.
working out, staying healthy, bodybuilding. So that's very cool that you've gotten back into it. And yeah, you're looking good. You look about 10 years younger than last time I saw you. So
Well,
and
thank you.
that was a week ago. I don't know how you do it. Uh,
Imagine what a month can do, there you go.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So where do we start today with this topic?
Well, let's go to that article by Health View Services, Retirement Planning and Longevity, which is titled Health Does It Make Sense to Plan for 95? What I found out for most retirees is that planning for 95 can be overly cautious. The report highlights that 95% of retirees in their 60s already have at least one chronic condition that can shorten their expected lifespan. Yet, despite the data, many financial services professionals continue to use 95 as a benchmark when designing retirement income strategies. And I know for myself, I actually use 100.
Oh wow, okay. That's pretty incredible. I know my grandfather lived to 101.
Hmm.
So, and a lot of the men, even on that side, and women lived into their hundreds. So there is longevity on my dad's side of the family, and
Okay.
my mom's for the most part as well. So you've got to look at family history, and
Right.
I think it makes sense. I don't. I think the whole reason you plan to 95 for your clients, even though stats might say the majority of people might not live that long.
Right.
However, if you plan for that long, what's the worst that can happen? You're going to leave more money to your loved ones. And um,
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, for me personally, I know that I wouldn't want to run out of money, right? I mean, that's why you do it. That's why so many financial professionals stick to that number, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, it's the way I look at it, it's better to over prepare than to under prepare,
Right.
And when I think it really comes down to is most people have that fear, like you said, of outliving their money, and in my experience, that's one of the biggest concerns retirees have. And while 95 may be optimistic as a target, people are generally are living longer, which does increase the risk of running out of funds. My oldest client that we just actually lost about a year and a half ago was 104 years old and still driving, Tony, still driving. That was a little scary. But the article also includes insights from a financial service professional who automatically assumes all her clients will live to 95. She argues that while it's conservative, there's really no real downside. If a client passes away before then, well, like you said, the remaining assets simply transferred to their loved ones. And then,
Hmm.
assuming they have a well structured estate plan and a financial strategy.
Right. Yeah, and that's the key. You have to have a plan in place. You have to work with a financial professional like yourself so you have that strategy. And I mean, nobody wants to risk running out of money in their later
Okay.
years. And
Yep.
working with someone like yourself is a smart way to ensure financial security no matter how long you live. I mean, you've said it before, Albert. That's the number one fear people have is running out of money. You don't want your bank account to hit zero before your blood pressure does, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yes. In fact, there's another financial expert in this article that believes that planning for 95, well, it helps clients prepare for increased healthcare costs as they age. And the reality is, even if someone doesn't live to 95, their expenses, especially for medical care, can rise significantly in their later years. So overfunding retirement could be a safer strategy than underfunding it.
Yeah, there you go. And that's yeah, you don't want to underfund it. That is for sure. You don't. Nobody wants to run out of the money. But most of us, even though most people won't hit 95, longevity is increasing. Right? The stats do show that. Correct?
Yep, yep. We just had that mortality table revised just a couple years ago, and yes, everyone got a couple more years. In fact, according to Health Views data, a 65-year-old woman today has an average lifespan of expectancy, I would say, from between 89 and 90, and while a 65-year-old man can expect to live anywhere from 87 to 88.
Right.
Now, some financial professionals believe that using 95 as a planning target is excessive, but another advisor quoted in an article noted that in over 20 years in the industry, he's only had one client live past 90. Now, that kind of experience leads some advisors to believe that planning for 95 isn't necessary for most people. But I would argue, to help your clients understand that in case they make it to 95, that they're going to be okay, it's a big thing when you give them that peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's huge. Obviously, it does make a big difference. It gives you that peace of mind, and longevity just keeps increasing, doesn't it?
It does. It is. In fact, according to a Pew Research Foundation study called U.S. centenarian population is projected to quadruple over the next 30 years. So what they mean is the number of Americans reaching 100 years old is expected to quadruple in the next 30 years. So from around 100,000 today to more than 420,000 individuals by 2054. Now, but even though 420,000 centenarians sound like a lot, keep in mind that by 2050, the total population of Americans aged 65 and older will be over 82 million. So that means most people won't hit 95, but some will. And having a financial strategy that accounts for both possibilities, well, that's the key, Tony. And personally, I think there's no downside to structuring your financial plan for, let's say, the possibility of reaching 95. If you don't and your funds go to your heirs, well, hey, it's a good thing. But if you do and your finances fall short, now that's a more serious problem.
Yeah, it is. And as a financial services professional, how do you, Albert, deal with increasing life expectancies in terms of helping your clients protect that future income?
Well, Decisions to project, let's say, a longer lifespan in financial planning depends on various factors, much like other aspects of retirement strategies. For instance, individuals with a history of longevity in their family and an exceptionally healthy, active lifestyle may have a greater likelihood of reaching 100. But in such cases, a financial service professional should consider running multiple projections with different age scenarios to give clients, let's say, a comprehensive understanding of all possible outcomes. Then you might have sufficient funds until 90, but beyond that, things could get tight. And the article also notes that many financial planning software programs struggle to actually accurately model expenses as clients age, making working with the financial service professional all the more important. Okay. And in my experience, nearly everyone experiences this transition. No significant medical concerns. Life is good, but spending patterns shift. So that lull in expenses can extend the longevity of a retirement plan.
Hmm. That's a good point. I never thought of it that way. I'm sure our listeners will have questions about what we're talking about today or want to get together with you and for that no charge, no obligation consultation to get a plan in place. How can they do that?
Yeah, folks, you can visit my website at www.kaizenfinancialgroup.com. That's Kaizen, Kaizen, or call my office at 586-752-7008 and discuss how we can answer your questions and address your concerns about your retirement targets, your broader retirement goals, or any other parts of your financial strategy.
All right. Well, we've been talking about how planning for a 95-year lifespan is a solid strategy to help avoid running out of money in retirement. What do you have for us next?
Well, let's keep on that same theme here today. A Bankrate article titled Retirement Planning Checklist 5 Key Steps to Being Financially Prepared provides us some good insights. The first step, defining your retirement savings goal. To do this, ask yourself some big picture questions. What's your dream retirement lifestyle? How will you make the most of your free time? Many financial services professionals suggest aiming for about 80% of your pre retirement income to sustain your lifestyle after you stop working. Now, that said, this rule doesn't apply universally. If your dream retirement includes, let's say, world travel, fine dining, and five-star hotels, well, 80% may not be enough. On the other hand, if you envision, let's say, a quiet life, tending to your garden at home that's already paid off, with an occasional trip to, let's just say, to a matinee, 80% may be more than sufficient. One key to success in making sure you have a plan that fits your specific needs, start by visualizing what your daily life in retirement will look like. Will you need a car? Do you plan on downsizing to an area with public transportation? Will you be dining out frequently or cook most of your meals at home? Answering these questions will help you determine your monthly expenses. And at the end of the day, I think your retirement strategy should be as unique as you are, Tony.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody's situation is unique. Everybody has different goals, different things they want to achieve. They're at different places. They might have a different timeline. So that is so important. I think you're
Yes.
spot on there.
Yep. Well, and then the next step we should be looking at is your retirement checklist is calculating how much money you'll need to last your retirement. I mean, once you've set your retirement savings target, use your current income and expenses to project your future financial needs. Now, it's also important to consider inflation when making these projections. I like to throw anywhere from 2 to 2.5%, depending on where you're spending your money. Prices on everyday items will continue to rise over time, so ensuring your savings grow at a pace that keeps up with inflation is very, very crucial. And there's also the 4% rule, which suggests that withdrawing 4% of your savings annually in retirement can be a sustainable approach. However, this isn't a one size fit all solution. Some may need to withdraw more, while others can withdraw less. Now, working with a financial service professional can help you determine a percentage that aligns with your own personal situation. And also, remember, it's critical to prepare for unexpected expenses that inevitably arise. A broken appliance, let's say, an emergency plane ticket to go somewhere, or even a new lawnmower can take a chunk out of your savings. So setting aside funds specifically for emergencies can also help keep those off high interest credit cards from being used.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You need an emergency fund. You've talked about the importance of that many times, Albert, and you always try to drive that point home is have that 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses somewhere that's liquid where you can access it and it's readily available because you never know when you're going to need a new roof or need new
Yes.
tires, run over that nail. And anyone who's bought tires lately knows you're going to need quite a bit of money for that. So,
Yeah. Unexpected expenses can do more than just hurt your wallet, Tony. They
yeah.
can derail your entire financial plan, especially when it comes to taxes and all that, all put together with it. Now, the article highlights a New York Life survey that found that the average cost for long term care exceeds about $115,000 a year. Now, many assume they won't need these services until their 80s. But what if circumstances require long term care in their early 70s? I strongly suggest discussing emergency savings and options for funding your long term care needs with a financial service professional. Planning ahead can make a world of difference. And additionally, even after retirement, it's essential to monitor your investments, your savings account, and all your financial tools closely so that when you were working. Consider scheduling regular check-ins or either quarterly or annually to review your financial situation and adjust as needed with your financial services professional.
Yeah, I mean, retirement might free you from a lot of your daily tasks that you had to
Mhm.
do, but financial management isn't something that you can set it and forget it and won't have to work at through retirement. You still need to keep a close eye on your accounts, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
talked about the what ifs and all that. I mean, I can give you a funny joke. If you want to make God laugh, tell him you have a plan.
Yeah,
I mean,
man plans, God laughs. I
yep,
love that one.
you got it. Now, another thing that's crucial in your step is understanding the tax advantage retirement accounts, like I explained earlier, taxes. First up, we have 401k plans. These employer sponsored accounts often include a company match and allow tax deferred contributions, meaning your money grows tax free until you start making withdrawals after age 59 and a half. Now, then there's your traditional IRAs, like a 401k. It allows pre-tax contributions with taxes due upon withdrawal. But unlike a 401k, IRAs are managed independently rather through an employer plan. And then another option is a Roth IRA, where contributions are taxed up front, but qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax free. So Roths may be right for some and wrong for others. So discuss them with your financial service professional before making any final decisions. And then beyond these, other useful retirement savings options could include simple IRAs, step IRAs, solo 401ks. And don't forget about your health savings account, your HSAs. These accounts provide triple tax advantages by letting you save for healthcare expenses while also reducing your taxable income and then allowing for tax deferred growth, and then withdrawals are tax free as long as they're used for qualified medical expenses.
Right. And that's why I think it's so important for our listeners to work with somebody like yourself because you're going to help find the best mix of these tools for their specific needs. And you're different. I mean, you can't just do what your neighbor did or your buddy down the street or your friend from work did. You have your own unique situation, time horizon, needs, goals, right?
Exactly. Exactly, Tony. Everyone is different. Okay. Now, another important takeaway is consider starting to save now. And if you've already started, consider increasing your savings or your contributions. The article explains that investing just $500 a month, assuming a 7% return over 30 years, could grow to more than $560,000. But if you
Wow.
right? It's big. Time, compounding, all of that. But if you can't afford $500, don't worry. Starting with a smaller amount and increasing it over time can still lead to significant growth. Then also consider diversifying your investments. A mix of stocks, bonds, and other assets can help you balance risk while allowing your money to grow. And if your employer offers a matching 401k contributions, consider contributing at least enough. You got to get that full match. That's free money, Tony, that can compound over time. make sure you're getting that free money.
There you go. Well, I think that's the key right there. But looking back at everything we've talked about during the show today, the key is have a plan, know your own personal goals, your own personal time horizon, your own personal budget. And you're like, I don't know how to figure out how much money I'm going to need in retirement or when I'm going to be able to retire based on what I have. And that's where you come in, Albert. And you also help people avoid making costly mistakes in this planning process and during their retirement. So before we go today, let our listeners know one more time how they can get a hold of you to set up that no charge, no obligation consultation.
Yeah, folks, look, put a plan together. Make sure you're planning for the longevity and all the unexpected. If you're concerned about all that and want to plan itself, visit my website at www.kaizenfinancialgroup.com. That's Kaizen, Kaizen, or call my office at 586-752-7008 and discuss how we can answer your questions, address your concerns about your retirement targets, your broader retirement goals, and any other parts of your financial strategy. Remember, it's our goal to help you prepare for retirement so you can own your retirement.
Awesome. And that's what we all want to do. We want to be able to own our retirement, avoid those costly mistakes. Thanks for all the great tips and the great talk today, Albert. Listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Own Your Retirement with our host, Albert Lalonde.
Take care, everybody.